This is rough.
Just for shits and giggles.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, and he's sorted himself out now.
Not really.
Like the best part of 3 minutes, everyone adjusting the seats and grooming rubbish.
It's still a bit. It's like being on an airplane. All right.
You ain't getting no meals from me, son. Bring your own.
I'll take the other fish.
You're listening to the British Baseball Podcast. Hello, baseball family. Welcome into another episode of the British Baseball Podcast. First off, before we get into this episode, I'd like to thank every one of you who submitted your questions for improvements for the show via the survey. So that means I've got 10 minutes of talk with these two fine gentlemen that I've got here. Only kidding, we'll take as long as we need. My guests today are Jordan Edmonds and Zach Stroman of the London Mets, the Mets Bash Brothers. Gents, how are we doing?
Yeah, good. How are you?
Very good. Thank you for having me. Us.
Not bad, yeah. It does, yeah. Slightly warm. Wishing that window would go a bit further open. It does, but you know, it can't have it all the own way. So, how's your week been so far?
Yeah, good. I just working today, and then had a gym sesh with the machine, Alan Dean, and he's absolutely ruined me. So that was fun. But all good so far.
My day was started pretty interesting. I thought I had work today because I'm working in a primary school, but I rode all the way there about half an hour. Turns out it was an inset day, so we came home. That's about the week usually starts, I guess. Disappointing.
So it's nice to get out. Just go out on your bike for a bit. Exercising.
Yeah, good 9 miles in your jeans. Who doesn't love that?
Oh no! I couldn't get everything worse.
We won't go into that.
Skinny jeans as well.
Yeah.
Oh
no. That's a podcast for another day. Cycling attire, do's and don'ts. Right, let's get into some baseball chat then. So I'd like to know, there's a lot of people who probably don't know you, a bit about yourselves. Jordan, do you want to give us a bit about your history and how you managed to find baseball?
Yeah, I'll go first. So I got into baseball probably around 2005. I got into it by a man called Rob Burney. He moved to Horsham, which is where I live in West Sussex. It actually was in Southwater, it was just a small village, but he started taster sessions, then built up a baseball club called Horsham Junior Baseball Club. Became really successful, got to about 250 kids, and was like a self-contained league. And then I just kind of kept progressing through there. Got involved with like the GB Academy probably around 2007. I think that was when I went on my first tour for like a Kenko tournament in Italy in 2007 for the juvenile under 12 team. And then just kept progressing, really kept going through kind of the GB ranks, cadets, juniors, under 23 seniors, and kept pushing on really. So it's been good. That's how I kind of first got into it.
That's pretty interesting. So 2 years to get from like pretty much entering and straight to the GB program. Did you find that you were progressing a lot quicker than the other kids, or was it just like your enthusiasm just took you over?
At under 12, probably the pool of players I had to pick from was probably quite small, and I think I was probably the last cut on the team to go to Italy, because when I started I was not good. He's
being modest.
No, but you didn't
I'll call him out every time. Don't worry. It's gonna happen a few times.
In 07, 06, 07, I wasn't very good. I wasn't good when I first started playing baseball. It was only when I started kind of just like growing into my body when I started getting a bit better. But I think when I started, I wasn't great, and then I kind of pushed on quite quickly, and then managed to kind of go through the ranks. And when I moved on, me and Zach used to play each other in pony baseball, so we used to be teammates growing up the whole way through, and we had this really intense rivalry where it was Horsham baseball and London baseball, and they were the two kind of big teams in the league. But London always won pretty much.
Every single year, yeah.
So there was some rivalry there, and then I mean, I think when what would you say, it was 2012, we became really good friends because I got the Mets were going on a trip to Prague, and they wanted me to go with them, even though I still played for Horsham. And I said yes, even though I played against them for years. And me and Stroman, I think we room together. I'm pretty sure.
Oh yeah. Well, I think we were friends before that. We always had a bit of chemistry, like playing against each other growing up. And then I knew, when they said we should get Jordan on the team, I was the first one. Like, yes, absolutely. And it's just been since then, great friends. But yeah, the rivalry that was all through Bronco and into Pony. That's really fueled. I guess not like a hatred between the two teams, but then the friendship between the two of us. That was so it went.
Yeah, definitely.
That's really interesting. So was it a friendly rivalry, or did you was it a bit of a Disney sort of?
It was probably
a bit like in Mighty Ducks 1.
I wouldn't say it was
kid, and then
that friendly.
Wasn't too friendly. I mean, it should have been a bit more friendly for the age group. What were we, like 13 or 14?
Yeah.
For some reason, we did not like each other as teens.
It got really heated. I would say they're probably some of the most heated games I played. Like
I would agree with that.
Like there was some hatred in there, like genuine. Like we just wanted to, beat the living hell out of each other.
Yeah.
It was like that's like a big highlight for me. Like that was good baseball, and that was fun because it was so competitive, and I was lucky to have that growing up, that league, because I don't even think they have that anymore, but the BBF used to have like under 15 league, under 12 league, and used to play teams kind of across the country like the NBL, but for Pony.
Yeah. And
then you'd play up the teams from up north. So we were quite lucky to have that. I think we came in at quite a good time, to be honest, me and Zach.
Definitely.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Were you a bit worried at all then when you went to play for the Mets? Like being, like, say it is that heat and stuff. Was there any part of you that was a bit nervous about accepting it?
It was hard for me to like be like, I'm going to play for the Mets now, because it was like, it was just for a tournament. It was literally just for a week, and then I was going to go back to play for Horsham. But it was hard for me to like. It's like, I'm playing for Arsenal, and then I'm going to go and play for Spurs for a week. It's like that. But like that team we had was so good. Like if I look back, that team was so good, and we made it all the way to the semi-finals, and we played out of 16 teams, and we were a club team, and we played like the German academy. We played the Israeli national team. Beat the Israeli national team, beat a load of club teams. We lost in the semis against the German academy, but like we had a good ride. We had a really good team.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Should mention the other couple of people we had on that team who are now still in the NBL. We had Jamie Dix, who's on the Mets with us. Juan Diaz, who plays at Essex. Jonathan Crammond, who came as our one of our assistant coaches. He was 20 years old, and that just kind of shows the kind of caliber of people that we had even back then, and now who have excelled into the positions they are now. So I think it's just it's amazing.
Yeah, wow, that's really cool. So before we get a bit too far ahead of ourselves, I forgot about you.
Sorry.
Zach. Do you want to tell us a bit about how you fell in love with baseball and how you managed to find it?
I kind of grew up a little differently. I think I started throwing a baseball when I was about 4 or 5 years old. My parents are both from a small town in Indiana and the States. And I grew up just doing it. But then I was actually a football player, and that was my main kind of obsession. And my team got cut when kind of just got cancelled when I was about 9 years old. And my dad said, well, how do we get this kid out of the house now? We have to do something. And just looked up baseball, and just happened to be that here's a team that's only 10 minutes away from my house in Finsbury Park. And I was like, this is great. And I think I walked up there that day with him, with my glove, and just kind of joined straight on the team. And I was about 10 years old, back in about 2005, with about the same age as Jordan. And yeah, I just grew up playing for all them through the Mets, the Broncos, the Pony team, and yeah, now to the NBL. But yeah, I think my first year on the Great Britain team was in 2012 with Sweden. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think it's 2012.
I think that might be
Yeah,
way up.
12 or 13.
Yeah, 13. Yeah, 12 or 13. And yeah, that was another. That was probably my first year of GB, and had a great tournament there with Will Linton as our head coach, and Liam Carroll came as one of our assistants, who's a former Great Britain manager. And after that, I kind of carried on through the London Met system, playing for GB. Played a tour with the under-23s, and then I actually went to America and played. Got a scholarship to play at a junior college, Waubonsee Community College in Illinois, and then I moved on to St. Ambrose University in Iowa, and the NAIA. And now I'm back and loving it.
That's really interesting. So,
Yeah.
how far did you think baseball was going to take you then when you got into college? Did you have dreams of taking it further, or was it just something you were doing while you were there?
No, it was definitely a dream of mine. But my dream was to kind of move to America. Being my parents, being from America, I was always loved going there and seeing my family, and I was kind of obsessed with Chicago when I was kind of younger, and going there was a part of it for sure. But baseball was kind of my road and my way to do it, and obviously it was always the dream and everyone's dream who's ever played to be a professional baseball player. But and yeah, I got into my university, and it was about a couple of months in, it was very quick to realize that I actually wasn't very good at baseball. Okay, well, I'm all right, but no, seriously, like I'm all right, but there's a lot of guys who are better than me. And
yeah,
but so
I mean, yeah,
I moved along, and I got better as the years went by in university. So that was kind of my point of, well, I'm actually getting better every year here. Where a lot of guys kind of hit their junior or senior year, I'm like, oh, well, I had a really good freshman year. I don't really care anymore. But now, yeah, that my senior year, I had a really good year, so I decided to try and go a bit further after conversations with Liam Carroll, Will Linton, Jonathan Crammon, Drew Spencer, talking about my next move, and decided to try my hand in the German Bundesliga, which is where I played last year for the Hamburg Steelers.
Yeah, I was going to talk about it as well, because you two seem like you've been quite close for quite a long time, and you've forged quite a decent partnership at the Mets.
Yeah.
So, Jordan, what was it like for you to hear that Zach was going to be moving away from the team and going to Germany?
Yeah, it was well because I'm like a year older, so I kind of I went to college in Canada for 2 years, and then when I came back, I went to Australia to play for 6 months. And then when I finished in Australia, I went and played in Hamburg for 6 months, where Zach played. And then a year after that, was flying out to Berlin at the weekends, but it was tough and like work, and it was kind of like I've got to figure out life or keep going with baseball kind of thing. So then I was like, all right, I'll play in England. So then when I see Zach going out there, it was kind of like I'm like Zach, that was 100% the right move, because he is more than good enough to play at that level. But it was kind of like, damn, I wish we could have played together. And he was always like, oh, come out. And I was like, it's, I kind of taken the decision to take a little step back and start, life, I guess, and work. So it was sad to see him go, because I love, playing with Zach's, it's great. But, well, he's back now, so it's all good. Yeah.
So Zach, tell us all about the German trip.
That was largely influenced by Jordan, because I talked to him about his experience there and what it was like. It just happened to be the exact same team that I was going to. So I was like, you can just tell me everything. That'd be great. It was delayed because of COVID, but I still managed to get out there for a half season, and it's turned out to be a great move. Partly because I was just dying to leave my house, just like everyone. It's like, oh yes, I can actually go out and do something this year. I thought 2020 had cancelled everything, but no, it seems to work out.
That's cool. What the facilities like now? Because I managed to catch one of the games on a live stream, and it looked like a really decent stadium. And I suppose the same goes to you as well, Jordan. Like you've managed to play in Canada and in Australia as well. What are the different qualities of facilities like over there? And can you see there being like a budget version, but like more realistic versions for British clubs to follow? Like any teams that you think would be a good template for some of the clubs to follow?
Yeah, I mean, Hamburg's got a lovely facility. You know, it is a small stadium. It's got seats. You get 100, 150 to 200 fans at the games, so it feels like you're at the big time kind of. Well, for Europe, I guess.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's cool because like that's what you want to do. You want to play in front of people. You want people watching you. It kind of spurs you on. And facilities across the country in Germany are good, and they've got a really good foundation, and it's a great template. If I think about Australia, the club ball system there is incredible, I think. So they've got teams from A grade all the way down to like 7 levels, and there's people playing at every level, and they've got every age of kids. And this is just in Adelaide. This is just one city, way smaller than London, but there's 10, 12 teams there, and every team has got multiple different teams and good facilities. And do I think that could happen in the UK? I think there's no reason it can't, but it comes down to money. It comes down to people being interested in the sport.
Yeah,
people having to invest in the facilities and they get something back from it. And like, if someone wanting to invest and build a stadium for someone, like what are they going to get back other than like a fulfillment of doing something great? But I wish it was the case. And there's blueprints everywhere that you could look at. We're just unfortunately not there yet. But yeah, I don't know what you think about that, Zach.
I definitely agree. The large one for me is interest, just getting people out to come to do it. And from a young age, especially, you have a lot of teams that here at London Mets, we have about our single A practices are packed. And then it comes to our NBL practice, and it's just about 10 of us. And you just wonder, like, the level, like, there's only a few of us who actually can play at this level. And then there's so many beginners. But I think if we look to like grow that from a young age, then that's where it would have to start. And then have to expand into at the level of something like Hamburg, something like the Bonn Capitals, and even Regensburg, which is the large foundation of baseball.
Yeah, definitely.
That's quite interesting. Like, because at first I was thinking maybe it's just like the whole bat and ball sport thing in Australia that makes it big, and maybe like Premiership football and football over here dominates so much that other sports don't really get that much of a look in. But then when I think about Germany, like the Bundesliga is not a slouch. But then you went like saying like the baseball teams over there as well, getting over 100 people turn up to watch. What do you think then? I don't know how to phrase this. Like, why do you think it works so well in Germany compared to maybe over here? Like, having seen it both sides, but any guesses?
I just feel like people have just like fully invested into it. They haven't like half-assed it.
Yeah,
they've just gone for it. And like Hamburg, they got sponsorship from like big docking.
Yeah,
because it's like a dock. They get sponsorship from these big companies, and probably putting a banner at their field is a drop in the ocean for them. But they still get it, And I don't know any clubs that are sponsored or have a big level of sponsorship.
The live stream definitely helps. That gets aired at local restaurants and during the week after our games, after the Hamburg Steelers games, and also like you said, the banners up behind home plate when you're watching a game. So it's just promotion. to think about where it is compared to the team like the London Mets or just any team in the NBL is it's I don't know why it's so largely ahead and like the interest is so much higher because it is. There's no big time baseball there. There's no major league teams, and even here now in London, we've had major league games and they haven't in Germany. And kind of wonder like, what are we doing wrong?
Yeah. But yeah, like I said, what I was saying about earlier, like me and Zach, I feel came in at a good time. Like we were lucky because now I look at the youth, it's just not as many coming through, which is it's quite sad to see, really. But yeah, there's so many different factors, and yeah, unfortunately, we're just a long way from even being at the level that the Bundesliga is at. So yeah.
Cool. Thank you very much. Let's talk then about this Bash Brothers thing. So, who came up with the nickname and why? I guess it's not just a fancy mocked up album cover that Drew Spencer did.
No. The name definitely comes from Drew Spencer. He started that.
Yeah.
And we're based behind Jose Canseco and Mark McGuire on the Oakland Athletics. That was kind of the idea of it. But it came to be from the Russia trip in 2019. The CEB's qualifiers, where we both had great tournaments, and we were given that nickname because of it, I guess.
Yeah.
So who hit the home run first?
Jordan.
Yeah. So yeah, first game of the tournament, I hit one. And I'll say that he might not listen, but he might. Martin Tucker was going to name his child Jimmy after me, but he bailed on it and said his wife. It was his wife, but we'll see. But and then in the game against the home team Moscow, I hit a solo shot, and then I got on base a couple innings later, maybe.
Yeah, in the sixth inning.
Yeah, and then Zach hit an absolute mammoth over right and pimped it. So yeah,
had to be done.
I didn't pimp mine, but Zach's got that down to T.
He doesn't know how to do it yet. Oh come,
not used to it.
So we're going to be doing it in practice next week then, practicing your flip.
I've got loads in the locker, but I'm never sure. Yeah.
That's great. So who's hit most home runs out of the two then? Or are you not keeping score?
Definitely keeping score, and I'm ahead this season.
He's ahead he's ahead this year. He's on 4 and I'm on 2.
Did you hit one this weekend?
No, neither of us hit any this weekend against the London Capitals, but last weekend, yes.
Last weekend, yeah. I've been doing the roundup show, so I've been doing 2 in one shift because I forgot to do one because I was waiting for the Battle for Britain results to come in. That's fine. We can double time there. So let's talk about some of your favourite away days. Then you've mentioned you've done a lot of travelling.
Oh man, that's so tough.
You go first, so yeah.
I especially have to mention in 2015 the Prague trip. That was Liam Carroll's first tour as the head coach. That was a fun one. That was a great tournament, and especially both of us as 19-year-olds starting every game, competing with some of the, not the older generation, but the older guys, and I thought that was great. Even though the team we won, I think maybe 2 games out of our week, but that was one of my favorites, I would say. So
the Lions tour.
Yeah, that was for the Lions. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Remember that one?
Definitely Russia. That has to be number one. Not many places you can go to where you absolutely just floored by everything. Just the scene, the people, just absolutely the baseball, the facilities. I thought that was just 8 days of pure bliss. I loved it.
That was wicked. Yeah, Moscow was amazing. We also got to go to South Africa in 2013.
Oh yeah,
2013 was it? 2014. Yeah. That was pretty cool.
That was a huge one. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Again, the team didn't perform too well, but like to see the culture. We got to teach baseball to kids in like a shanty town.
Yeah.
That was pretty special. Yeah, we've been to loads of places, haven't we? To be fair.
Yeah.
probably, yeah, one of mine as well was obviously the WBC qualifier that I got to be a part of in Brooklyn. Obviously played like half an inning, but just to be there was amazing. And then obviously Zach was, I think I can say it, was going to go to the next one, but that got canned. So
2 days before, still stings.
Yeah, heartbreaking.
Oh, man.
So yeah, I was rooting for him big time. But yeah.
That's cool. Do you remember much about your GB debuts?
Go ahead, Jordan.
No, you can go. I mean, mine was 07, and I was probably 11 years old. Debut would have been against, I want to say Lithuania in a Kenko tournament. So Kenko, we were 12 using metal bats, and the Kenko balls were they were hard, but they're like rubber, so they would bounce really high. And I remember Callum Vinyl hit this inside the park home run that bounced over the left fielder's head, and then he had like a little league inside the park home run. But I don't remember how I performed debut wise in that at all, to be honest. I remember making a diving catch we played Japan, got absolutely battered, like 30-0 or something. But I remember making like a diving catch. That's probably one of my best memories. I also got severely dehydrated on that tour. So that was another memory. But yeah, I don't remember too much, but it was good fun.
For me, it was in Sweden in 2012, and that was my pitching days. It was funny.
You weren't that bad. You just didn't have.
I wasn't that bad. I just didn't
belief in yourself.
No belief. No idea where the ball was going.
Yeah.
No problems. That was me. I remember I didn't pitch too badly. I wasn't a starter or anything. I just came in relief, I think twice, and I played right field for the last game of the season, for the last game of the tournament. And I think that was great. No, I don't particularly remember any of the at-bats. I just remember not playing the first game, and I came up to Will Linter and I said, like, hey man, like, what's going on? Like, why aren't I playing? And he was like, well, you're not quite there. And I said, well, like, what can I do to be there? And I still remember that conversation very well with Will Linter and Liam Carroll in the hotel. And I remember being so fired up after that, and them saying, all right, let's get after it tomorrow. And I got put in the lineup. So I thought that was very cool.
That's cool. I was going to say then, like, you sort of didn't have that belief in yourself then. What would you both say to yourselves now, knowing what you've done and what you know now? What advice would you give to yourselves just starting out, or in those sort of nervous rookie debut sort of eras?
Well, there are plenty of positions. Don't pitch. That's what I told myself. This is clearly not for me. I'm going to stay away from this one.
Not how I thought that answer was going to
go. Belief-wise, I mean, it's such a game of failure. Like, if you let it get to you, then you really are not going to excel in this game. Yeah. There are going to be games where you're just going to go 0 for 8, not going to touch the ball, and you're going to think to yourself, like, wow, like, what am I doing? This is silly. I should just stop. But the second you get those types of thoughts, you may as well just shut it down and quit. Because this is a game that you can do everything right, and you're still going to get it wrong. You're still going to hit. You can hit the absolute everything out of the ball, and then he goes right into the center fielder's glove, and you think, well, we just lost the game. What did I do wrong? Nothing really, but just that's how the game goes. Just keep going with it. It is so tough, but it's the love of the game that keeps you moving with it. And I think it takes a while to get to that point after a lot of failure, a lot of watching other players in front of you play, and you think to yourself, well, I'm better than him. Well, are you? Because he's getting the hits to 4 and you're not. So it's just kind of, you have to stick with it, and eventually your opportunity will come. And when it does come, you got to seize it. Otherwise, it might not come around again.
Yeah, I echo that. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. I think coaches would rather see you make mistakes than be like timid. I think be aggressive, and you can always tone that down. Just have fun. Like, the more you have fun, the more success you'll have, I think. Yeah. Definitely. That's what I've learned as I go on. I think the more times where I felt that I've been uptight and not very relaxed, I've probably not done very well. You just got to let everything come together, I guess. Yeah.
Cool. What tips could you both offer to any outfielders or other position players from what you played before? I just made my first game the other day, and I was a bag of nerves, but in practice I've done a bit of outfield drills, trying to be a bit palling, trying to keep just the outfield geared up. What sort of things would you advise to a novice like myself?
Well, Jordan's the clear better outfielder out of the two of us, so
No.
I'm going to let him take this one. Maybe I'll learn something.
No, you're allowed to. I think the primary job of an outfielder, if you think about it, really is to get the ball as quick as you can into the infield, because that's where you want to get it. Hit the cutoff man or make a good throw that is cuttable. I think that's a massive thing. You see so often when you skyrocket it over the cutoff man's head.
Guys trying to be a hero.
And takes another base. Where the infielder could cut that ball and then backpick the guy or get it off. Read the flight of the ball. I think that's a key one. Sometimes you get those like dagger line drives and you're like, oh, should I try and like dive for that or try and go for it, or should I lean back? If you do, you got to think, if I dive for that ball and I miss it, that is going to the fence. Or if it's just one of those pop-ups and it's going to come straight down, you've got a better chance of diving at that because it's not going to go miles behind you. There are a couple of things. Get as many reads in as you can, because the ball does funky things. Footwork is key as well. Drop steps. There's just a few things. It's
say the least.
Yeah. People think outfield is easy, but it's a lot to think about, because you're the last line of defense ultimately. If you miss the ball, it's going to go a long way most of the time. So,
One of the main things is as a centre fielder for Jordan is being like the captain of the field. You're the one who can see absolutely everything right in front of you. You can tell you're supposed to, you're going to tell the left fielder, the right fielder where to stand. Talk about who's coming up, what differences are we going to make in our positions here. What do you do last step at? So many little things that you kind of have to pick up on as the captain and lead the team when you're in the field.
Just talk as much as possible and just try and be as comfortable as you can with the two guys next to you and trust each other and back each other up. And
Cool. Wicked. Thank you. Made some notes. Thank you very much. Got a few more questions then before we sort of draw it to a close. Have either of you had to give up anything to pursue your love of baseball? It sounds like you mentioned before, John, that you decided that you were going to settle down and do the job thing and just play for one of the best teams in the country instead of jet setting. But what about the sacrifices have you had to make?
Well, growing up as a kid, like your mates are going out on Saturday and Sunday, they're partying, and you're thinking, oh, I'm missing that because I've got to go to practice on a Saturday and Sunday in Upper Hayford. But things like that, I think mainly, just sacrificing those things that I wouldn't, not normal kids, but the general population of kids do, like partying and stuff. But you got to remember, there's plenty of time for that, and you do it with your baseball mates, I guess, eventually. But my parents, especially, I'd say they've had to sacrifice a lot. Tons. My dad, if I think about it now, when I'm actually driving and I'm taking myself to games, but my parents driving me to games. My dad would take me anywhere I wanted to go if it was baseball related. He would practice with me anywhere, and I don't think I appreciated it that much until now. And financial sacrifice that they had to make, sending me on all these GB trips every year, sending me to MLB academies, sending me to college in Canada, you know, loads of things. And I want to pay them back for that eventually. You know, I can never tell them how grateful I am for that. So not so much me giving up things, it's more been my parents. But, yeah.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I can't even imagine how much money they've spent on our trips and you know, just to take us everywhere. Just the train ticket up to, you know, to Liverpool. Is, you know, when you're little and you think your dad's just going to give you like £50 for the day, and you're like, what? Like, this is crazy. Sacrifices, I guess the main thing has to be moving away and leaving kind of everything behind just to pursue, you know, a game.
Yeah.
But it's just kind of, you think of it like, how much does this mean to you, and is this what you really want? And you just kind of, you chase it. You got a dream, you chase it, and then, you know, you're gonna lose things, you're gonna lose people with all the decisions you make in life, but hopefully you kind of do your best to keep everything. It's, certainly that moving away, but luckily is while you lose friends or something like that, you gain a lot. You know, you meet a lot of new people from everywhere, and I think that's just massive. Those kind of things make up for all the sacrifices.
That's awesome. So I've got a couple more questions, like I said before we knock this on the head. You both seem to have achieved a lot within the sport. What are now your goals and aspirations within the game at your current stage?
You can go, Zach.
Certainly the main one would be to make the Great Britain senior team again. I suppose I made it last year, even though it didn't amount to anything with the qualifier being cancelled. I would love to make that team for the upcoming European Championships in September. Also, another shot at professional baseball in Europe would be amazing, possibly in Germany, in the Czech Republic. I think that'd be incredible. But the main thing is just to kind of have fun with it and not to lose it, just to enjoy yourself and remember that it is a game. And I think that's just the main part of playing on the Mets. Really, like the Mets is such a family. Back being in London, like you just kind of remind yourself like just how happy it makes you. And I think that's just kind of keep going with it because it does do that. It does just make you happy. I think that's the main part. That's all you need to achieve.
Yeah, similarly, like definitely for me, try and make the GB team, put myself in a position where I'm in the running for it. I kind of took a step back from that for a couple of years, just I couldn't get the time off work and other things. So yeah, hopefully I can at least put myself in the running for that this year. Just play as long as I can, have fun, try and stay healthy, try and ensure my arm doesn't fall off. But yeah, I'm at the moment with the Mets, I'm having the most fun I've had probably ever. And I know I played for Bracknell before, I played Southampton in men's baseball, and it was only because those teams folded that I joined the Mets. It was like well, no, not the only reason, but like, I was, I had to make that decision.
Yeah.
And at first I was like, do I really want to join the best team? And then I did, because, I knew loads of guys in that team and I was really good friends with all of them, and it was the best decision I made. And I said that in Moscow. We had this like emotional talks after a meal, and I said, I kind of not fallen out of love with the game, but it's reignited my passion playing for the Mets, and having a lot of fun. So just keep on that track.
Cool. For me. Excellent. So now, as I like to call it, we're in the bottom of the seventh. 3 questions for you both. Right. Not very baseball related. Cool. Do either of you have any hidden talents?
I guess I grew up quite musically, so I don't know, singing. It's not that.
Go on, Zach.
It's not that. It's not that secretive. If you hear me playing right field, you hear me between pitches. I'm going for it. You'll hear me singing away.
He does hum a lot under his breath as well.
Yeah.
It was like
always carrying a tune.
I thought that was a feedback loop.
No, that's me.
Oh, there we go. John Baxendale, you ready for a karaoke show down there with Zach Stroman? I think you'll find it anytime, any place comment coming your way there. Go on, Jordan, what's your hidden talent?
Hidden talents. I don't know really. All right at cooking. Don't know if that counts the talent.
Not if you're all right.
If you're all right.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
probably
you
not
know.
really a talent, is it? I've played football. I'm decent at football. Yeah, not really any hidden talents. I'm a good DJ.
That's
DJ.
That's true. It is true.
I'm a good DJ. Not like
Yes.
proper on decks, but like if you know, I can feel the mood and whatever.
Oh
I
yeah,
wants to
I bet you.
hear,
No, I bet you
and
can pick it up.
I'll put on some bangers. Yeah.
I know how to press play on a song.
Yeah, not his laptop DJs. I can mix. I just press.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Just press beat match and then press play.
No.
Me and my mates used to do Christmas parties on Boxing Day at a local bar around here, where I live, and I used to just do mashups. I just used to get really, really drunk and start doing mashups. And I found myself playing the a cappella of 12 Days of Christmas over Snoop Dogg, What's My Name? Just going, let's have a fun time. But that was different lifetime. So next question is, what are you most afraid of?
Go on, Jordan.
I don't really like spiders. I'm not a big fan of spiders at all. Probably death.
Jeez.
I mean, yeah, it's pretty scary. Scary thought. That whole thing, you know.
Let's get into it.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not. Yeah.
Would you like to share?
Yeah. No, that we won't go into that. Stroman.
Actually, I guess I don't know why I just thought crocodiles. I think those are just terrifying. Crocodiles, absolutely terrifying. But
do you get many crocodiles in Finsbury Park?
I've gone to Florida a lot of times. My grandparents live there, and I love finding alligators and looking at that. But the thought of getting in like a pond or something like that with one of them in there, that really does terrify.
Yeah, see what I mean.
We probably get some people acting like crocodiles in Finsbury Park, but not crocodiles.
Yeah, we get plenty of those.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Bit more of a light-hearted one for you now. So
good.
Yeah,
Pick up the mood. Pick up the
mood down there, didn't I? Sorry, boys.
Do you have any guilty pleasures?
Guilty pleasures.
That's
a good question.
That is a good question. Guilty pleasures.
I'm not sure about that one. That's a tough question.
Did you answer that for one another? Do you know anything about Zach and Zach vice versa that you think is a guilty pleasure about you?
Sure, he does.
Guilty pleasures. Zach is he loves his cuddles and like he's a very touchy-feely person.
Definitely.
So
true.
maybe that's a guilty pleasure.
Yeah, I'm not guilty about that at all. I love giving everyone a hug.
Yeah,
big bear, just come on. Bring it in. I don't know. That's a tough one for Jordan. Shaving his head.
No, that's not a guilty pleasure. I'm forced to do that.
Listen, some of us are like half-chewed action men from the 80s. If we let this grow on top, it's probably best that we show more of our face than it is to let it grow. Like a weird Mr. Potato Head. Or when crest things used to. Oh, no, I'm older than you. You probably did a crest thing.
I know what you're talking about. I think.
I'm cutting that out. And that brings it to the end. All the questions I've got, but it's tradition on the show for me to leave the last word open to the guests. So, Zach, Jordan, thanks so much for bringing an added dose of fun to this. It's been brilliant. Really, really enjoyed it. The floor's all yours. Any shout outs you want to give? Any parting advice? Any shout outs you want to do?
So, I mean, for anybody who wants to stick with this game, you have to love it. You really do have to love it to want to move on, especially to go into the university level, to the national team level. You really have to excel and kind of battle through those times of failure, because there's going to be quite a few if you love this game. Just keep going. We love this game, and for anybody listening, I'm sure they'll come to love it too.
Yeah. Yeah, for I guess any like young guys, just don't let anyone tell you can't do it, or anyone in general.
Yeah,
you know,
that's a huge one.
Be confident in yourself, and you know, if you want to get there, you can get there. And then the other thing, you know, overall, I'm just thankful for all the coaches that I've had over the years, and there's so many to mention, but shout out to those. But,
Well, we should shout them up. Jonathan Cram and Liam Carroll, Drew Spencer, Rich Minford, who I haven't mentioned yet, who's now the manager of the London Mets. He's just been an absolute pleasure to have as a coach. Is, you know, now definitely a big part of the success. So but too many names to count. Too many names.
Yeah, Will Linton, Liam Carroll, Paul Vernon, Rob Brant, Alan Dean. Yeah, so many. Too many.
But that's brilliant though that there are quite a lot that you had to try and remember. It just shows that a lot of people's work and effort are going into making great ball players.
Yeah, and that's just in this country, you know. Plenty we've worked with.
Sam Dempster.
That's a huge one.
Yeah. Legend. Yeah. You should get him on the podcast. That would be fun.
Yes. Yeah. Definitely.
I'll ask the question.
I'll put you in touch with him. That would be fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Please do. Yeah. So I'm always up for a guest. So before, it doesn't matter if you're at the top of the game or if you're rookie just entering it, you've got a story involving baseball, British baseball, you want to get in touch with the show, just DM me or send me an email, britishbaseballpodcast@gmail.com, and let's chat. And it's that's enough for me. And I could listen to you two chat all evening, but I'm wary of the time and I don't want to take up too much of your evening. But again, gents, thank you so much, and all the best luck with the rest of your season.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Matt.
Sarah.
Take it easy.